Hello everybody and welcome back. Actually, yeah, just welcome back. Momentarily ago, we were streaming Tier 2, but we are here for Tier 1, Competitive Racing Club. Season finale at Bathurst for the Australian Grand Prix. And yet again, we are going to crown another champion. And we have 3 drivers that can still win it, mainly just 2 of Crush and Professional. I'm Malc, joined again by James Head.
Yeah, good evening everyone. Hopefully everyone is having a great night, and I'm sure it's about to get even better with this 3-car battle that we've got. Crusher Pro, championship leader, is on a lap.
Yes he is. 12-something minutes left. We'll see how that one goes. But yeah, as it stands right now, 207 points to Crusher's name, 203 to Professional's name down in second. Actually, it's just letting cars by. And then in third is our 2-time champion. He still has a possibility of becoming a Mr. 3-time, but Ash over here, he's done team orders. He's let his teammate buy at Long Beach to have a better shot at the championship today. We'll see how this one goes, and honestly, all these 3 of these drivers have a chance to win it today. And just imagine the scenes if Professional and Crusher take each other out, but Ash only gets one, he gets not enough points, and he needed 1 or 2 more, and then he's gonna look back at Long Beach, and he said, man, I should have not let Professional buy. But, we'll see how today's race goes on. 11 minutes left, and Ash almost hits the wall.
Goodness me, just really floored it out of the final corner, got caught on the outside curb, and that's why he nearly went into the wall. I think there might have been a little bit of poo coming out there.
Yeah. So, we bring ourselves to the Australian Grand Prix. It is the final race of Season 4, and what it could be the final race of Ash's CRC career. He announced a sabbatical a couple days ago. He will not be returning to Season 5. There's a chance he may return of Assetto Corsa, but, Professional did confirm that he will be returning in Season 6. He's just taking a season off. So if need be, Professional wins the championship, then goes out and retires for a season. That is completely likely, and if we did, the F1 number format from back then, they would have the number 0 for next season, which is just a little fun fact. But we'll see how this one goes. 10 minutes left in qualifying. Who do you have bets on for qualifying?
I've got to be honest, Crusher Pro, I think he's just going to be one of those people. He's just about to come across the line now, and a 204.9 to begin us off with. That is a lot quicker than what we had in Tier 2. So Crusher Pro has already set the mark, and goodness me, nearly spins in front of a Porsche there who was coming out of the pits.
Nissim only 8/10 off in second, and Spencer, I should say Xanamar in third, a 10th off of Nissim. And again, the 2 HRT guys, I'm not going to brag about them, mainly because they're my team, but I'm going to be unbiased. They've been really good this season. I mean, first time that we've been able to get multiple wins in a season, first time we've ever won a race this season, and it's down to these 2 guys putting on fantastic practice and effort. Their work ethic is fantastic. And, this season, you could say they are the underdogs a little bit, both getting wins themselves. But, expect Nissim and Xanamar to be up there. They do have a lot of pace to their name. John right now in 4th. He's only a second off, but that's his first flying lap. We'll see if he improves. And I reckon Crusher could even improve as well, which is quite funny because he set a 204.9.
Yeah, 204.9 for Crusher. I'm sure he will improve on that, and as the track gets quicker and quicker during the course of qualifying, we should see the times begin to come down. H Racing Green just came in with a lap there, 206.7, 1.7 seconds off the pace, currently out on track, but it will be very interesting to see how Professional Nash get on. And speaking of Professional, he's just came off a lap, and it's a 205.3, 4/10 off, so it definitely appears to me that the thinner cars, like the Ferraris, like the Astons, are again beginning to tell, because the Mercedes, especially through the corners, struggle around here.
I was going to say, I'm in awe watching Crusher's lap. And this is, I think, his warm-up lap, honestly. He's pushing the limits like madman over here. Wow. Right up against the white line, right up against the wall, and then on the straights is just, saying, nothing to worry about. Just warming up the tires a little bit more, but, he is a man on a mission. Obviously, he's only 4 points ahead, but honestly, he could be in threat of losing this championship, as his performances on tight tracks like these have not been keen, and especially his performance in Sugo opened up the door for Professional to come on through and have a chance at the championship. And remember at Brno, when Professional threw away a decent top 3, a podium result, and that's why we're in this championship fight. I mean, if that was a different story, Professional would be, his championship to lose, but right now, Crusher, I think, has 6 wins this season to Professional's 3, and they're only within 3 points of each other.
And that, I think, is because Crusher has been a little inconsistent, especially losing the back ends at a couple of the tracks out in this season. He's just made a mistake there coming out of turn 1. But Crusher, hopefully, going to be trying to improve on this lap. And this in third, by the way, Zandermark 4th. John on his home track in 5th currently, but we're still expecting the likes of McKinder and Emmanuel, I'm looking at, particularly to do well in this qualifying session. Watch out for McKinder for you, especially, because I think he's worthy of a top 5 in qualifying tonight.
Yep. I just want to ride on board with Crusher. I'm still in awe of his lap time. He's drifting that thing. That back end is just hanging out there with 7.5 minutes left. However, he's been jumped by Professional, who goes quickest by a half second to Crusher's tally, and that's quite impressive. May want to look at Professional's lap, honestly. He was right on the limit, and Nissim is up there with Zanamar as well, who's put in a lot of effort, and, you know, Ash goes 5th quickest, not enough to Professional's pole position. But Racing at Home returns after a couple of races away, and he's in 6th place. John's in 7th, 8th is H Racing Green, and 9th is Andy. But again, a lot of these guys have food on their platter that they want to eat, and it looks like Professional is the one who's gotten the most off his plate.
Yeah, Professional 5 1/4 tenths ahead of Crusher Pro out on track, but I would love to see how Crusher Pro is getting on his lap, because he is currently, I think, well up there, and he might be coming up towards the final couple of corners, if I'm not mistaken, out on track. He should be coming up towards the final couple of corners. This is me going off no mini-map at all, so I'm just predicting these things. He's 5 tenths off at this stage, but Professional currently is coming out of the pit lane to restart a lap, it seems. Will Crusher Pro go quicker? He's just out of the chase now, coming down towards turn 24 at Murray's corner, and in fact I think he might have invalidated this one, and that is why he is coming round to the final corner to start off another lap.
Well, let's see if his lap's going to be good enough. Obviously, he'll have another chance. Let's see, crosses the line, no improvement. So this lap will be the one he wants to... He put all the marbles in. We'll see, 5.5 minutes left. He's run wide, and I think that's it for his lap, and back into the pits, and out he goes again.
Yeah, Crusher back into the pits, and he is back out of the pits straight as you say that, and that is Zandermar, I think, coming across the line as well, to just come across the line to go 4th, and Ash currently in 5th, 206 flat. Again, maybe playing the wingman role at this stage, but he has got good pace, I think, around here, and he's fighting the car, coming through 22 and 23 at the chase. Of course, don't get that mixed up with the ITV show that we have over here in the UK. Ash coming around the final corner, and with 5 minutes to go in the session, he's pushing the limits on this car. Is it going to prove off on this lap across the line? Yes, he goes to the top, 500th, 204.3.
Yep, now I'm just waiting for him to get a grid penalty to speed in the pits.
And Ash, yeah, he's coming out of the pits, no speeding into the pit lane from him. I think he's going to be quite wary of that coming into tonight.
Well, I was talking with Ash after Long Beach, and I think he said he purposely sped into the pits to let Professional go ahead on a qualifying pace, and that allowed Emmanuel to get the pole. But yeah, nothing there. No grid penalty, so we'll see how this one plays out for him. Flashing lights, McKinder. I believe that's McKinder, right?
It is McKinder just coming through.
The blue.
Currently not setting a lap, actually, out on track.
Must be starting a lap.
Mia is in the pit, so it is McKinder.
Yeah. So 4 minutes left in this session. McKinder, Sean, Emmanuel, and Mia have... Actually, yeah, Mia has a qualifying ban, which I forgot to mention. After the incidents of last weekend's race at Long Beach, which he took out multiple cars by straight lining turn 1 over the curb, has resulted in his penalty points adding up into a qualifying ban, and he will be sitting out of qualifying for this session. But, you know, Emmanuel, Sean, and McKinder have not set qualifying times yet. Right now it's Bulldog 1-2 with Crusher in 3rd, like we've seen time and time again. And, you know, Professional is only 500ths off of Ash, so we'll see. I think what Ash is going to do, he's going to wait till the very end. If Crusher can't improve, he's going to be in the pits and purposely speed to give him the go-ahead. Or, get this, he could just let that lane go by on itself. He could take pole and just purposely not get the best of start, because I do believe the pole man does start on the inside.
Yeah, pole man does start on the inside, and I think in terms of Professional. He's got to try and go quicker than his teammates. For his championship, he's got to be quicker than his teammates, get the run down in towards turn 1, and get that move done. If it stays as it is, Professional could easily be let through by Ash out on track. Just to mention to Nissim as well, he's now maybe 7 tenths off actually, just under 7 tenths off on Ash, 205 flat, so he improved about 4 tenths of a second on his lap.
Looking at Professional, he is using every part of the track. You're not going to be like this during the race, but I'm quite curious to see if he can hang on right up against the curb. No gravel on the tires, just like he intended. Hopping down onto the track using just enough tarmac. Left and right, and again, we'll see if this lap is the one to beat. And I'm kind of curious, where's Crusher on the lap? Whoa, and almost hits the wall. Crusher's right behind, so let's just ride on board. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful lap indeed right now. We're looking, he uses the car to maximize the exit speed right up against the wall. Almost. He's good. He's good. He's hanging on. Again, he does have another lap to do after this one if he ever so decides to do that. He does have 7.7 liters in the tank, so that's still an option for him.
Can he go in the 7th gear or in a very high 6th gear running down towards...
He's just going to hold it there.
Oh, lovely through there. This is a good lap, this.
Right up on the curb. Only car ahead, I believe, that is Nissim.
2 or 3, I'm thinking, for Professional here.
It's possible. We'll see. Up against the line. Takes back pole. 2:04.3.
400ths of a second separating Crusher Bro through the final corner. He's got to find 7 tenths of a second pretty much on Professional. How is he going to get on? He's got a minute left. He's got another lap in him after this one as well. He goes. He doesn't improve. So Crusher Bro doesn't improve. So this will be his lap.
And he runs a tad bit wide. He's still in it. A little bit wider. That could have costed him a couple tenths, which could have been the ever-so deciding difference. Emmanuel's still out on track, trying to find a lap time to set. Steve is 31 seconds off. I don't think that is a competitive lap time that he set. Same with Sean. I think just trying to keep it off the wall. But Ash is in the pits, and I think he's kind of happy he didn't get that grid penalty, because then that would have meant Crusher's right up against side, and he's ever so close. I think that may be a slowdown or something. We'll see.
Yeah,
and yep, that's it. In the wall.
So 3rd is the best he can hope for, but I would love to see how Zandemar's getting on out on track. 205.3 currently. He could be the one to jump the likes of Nissim, to jump the likes of Crusher Pro and land in that 3rd position. He could have a good lap within him.
Yep. So let me change the camera because I was away from the controller. Zandemar's is in 5th at 2:05.3. I think that's the best he's going to get so far. I'm kind of curious to see how Emmanuel is doing. He is going to come across the line. 11th.
Cool,
not
11th.
Bad.
McKinnon, by the way, went up to 9th, improved 206.7 as well, so he went into 9th. That is Steve coming across the line, improves on his time, 209.9. John, by the way, went up to 6th, has got another lap within him. He's on a 206 flat.
Yeah.
The homeboy doing quite well.
I think Professional has pole, but he's going to try and extend that gap, maybe a 2:03, which sounds a little bit radical, but it is possible. By any means, of pushing every limit ever existed on this track. Cross the line. How is Professional going to fare from this? And no improvement.
Zandemar the only one really to watch.
I think Sean as well.
Unless Sean sets a terrific lap of a 2:04.2, then you never know. Oh, Zandemar hits the wall.
Sean actually, I think Sean's done, or he's just slowing.
Yeah, Sean's done. He's already been across the line, and Zandemar looks like he's done because he just clipped the wall at the top of the hill. So I think that's qualifying over and done with.
He's still pushing on. I still feel like he has a possibility to gain a couple tenths, and honestly, he can knock down Nissim, who's in 4th.
He has got a chance to knock down Nissim, and he's got to find 4 tenths of a second. He could be within range of Crusher Pro, as I say, as well out on track, but the American man now coming through the chase once again.
I hate to break it to you, but Zandemar is Canadian.
Oh, he's Canadian. Sorry, that's my bad.
Zandemar texted me. Yeah, I was gonna say Zandemar texted me. He's like, "Crusher, I hope James knows that I'm not American."
Zander didn't improve, I don't think, there, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that should be it. Yeah, 5th place, but that's the championship order, and honestly, the way it looks ever so inspiring in the name. That Professional comes out on top today. I mean, yes, he does have pole, but you want to be in front of the pack as we start this race. I mean, yes, Matt did get the pole and blew it in Tier 2 with other cars around him, but I think this is going to be a different story. I don't think you're going to see some risky overtakes. I think these guys are going to be a lot more patient as you go through the grid at the bottom half. You know, Andy McKinnon, H Racing Green getting top 10s. Nice to see. John up there in the top 10, fantastic. Racing at Home gets 7th in his return. That's also fantastic. But who do you have your bets on for Tier 1 tonight? You know, it's a final race. It's easy to say the pole sitter, but I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
My thoughts are, I think Crusher is going to get a tremendous start off the line, and to be honest, I could see him being in the lead down towards Turn 1 if he gets a good enough start, but he's got 2 Ferraris in front of him that will play the tactical game to hold him up and maybe let the likes of Nissim and Zandamar creep into the race. But for my top 3, I'm going to go Crusher Boat for the win as long as he gets a good start. I'm going to go for Zandamar for second. I think he's got a good race within him tonight. And third, I'm going to go Professional.
Quite interesting. We'll see how this one plays out. I think what's going to happen is Ash is going to... I'm not sure. If you're Ash, you can't really afford to get a bad start because then Crusher's right to your inside. I think he's going to try moving to the inside while letting Professional slip away a little bit. We'll see. I mean, Ash is really going to have to defend Crusher off because, again, he's playing the whole team player role today. And then after that, we have Nissim and Zanamar. They're searching for points to surge in the championship constructor standings. They're up to 3rd. Prop to my HRT boys in 4th and 5th. John in 6th. You know, grew up around this track. Again, there's a lot of stories that develop around this track. And for John, you know, it's sort of heartfelt up. CRC finally races in Bathurst for the Australian Grand Prix. Nice to see he's back. And like we mentioned in Tier 2, today is the hottest ever recorded race in CRC history. For Fahrenheit, it is 145 degrees Fahrenheit for the track temperature. Air temperature is roughly in the high 90s, which again is pretty hot.
145, I think, is warmer than what we experience in Tier 2, I'm pretty sure, by about 3 degrees Fahrenheit.
Something like that. We'll see how this one plays out. Sinking the lobby. Getting ready. And we're green for the Australian Grand Prix in Bathurst, and Ash does not get away. Nissim's in the grass. Or either he jumped the start or some sorts, but the 2 Ferraris have gotten away, and Ash is going to try and cover Crusher, who's up along his outside. Madness has brewed in the background as the 3 championship contenders have gotten away. 1, 2, 3, and Crusher takes away P2, but Ash may use a slipstream of Professional, who's holding that line on purpose, right up against Ash.
He's coming across on him.
He's trying to cover him off, and Crusher's in the wall, and he's in the wall. It's going to be a madness of a start. Everybody is involved in this one. A terrible start for Crusher. Up in the air, and he's flipped his car.
That's him gone.
And in seconds, his championship fight is over.
Ash down to 7th. I think Zandamar was caught up in that as well. He's got no rear wing out on track, and Ash, he's causing a bit of a blockage, really. He's got suspension damage to that car, and that is so unfortunate. But this really opens up the race in its entirety now. Professional leading in terms of the championship. I mean, look at the damage that Ash has got after that crash. And Crusher Bro cannot get flipped over, and yeah. That's his championship hopes gone in the blinking of an eye.
He saw that coming. I mean, some could argue, like Emmanuel was saying earlier, cautions should be enabled, especially for this track. Like, next season we're having cautions at Long Beach and the 2 oval races at IndyCar. You could see that, but that big crash was going to happen regardless. I mean, it doesn't help when a wall just emerges right back out of nowhere. When Crusher crowds Ash into the wall, that was going to happen, and I hate admitting it. But, you know, he tried to clear him before the corner. Crusher tried. He tried and tried and tried. And that ultimately just gave Professional. And yeah, he leaves the lobby. That's championship over for Crusher.
He misjudged him completely. He thought he was clear of him. It's as simple as that. Crusher Pro thought he was clear of him, didn't. And I've got to be honest by saying this, that might be one of the worst pieces of driving on. John's gone straight on through the final corner.
I think that may have been, I think that was lag, maybe.
Was it lag?
I don't know.
That was lag. John still in second.
That scared me for a second. Look at that. Andy's up to 4th. H-Racing Green is 3rd. John is 2nd. A lot of these guys are going to have to pit. Steve is in 6th. 7th is Mia. I see a cone flying in the background as Sean is in the pits. I think Racing at Home, McKinda, Xanamar, and Ash are all going to have to pit, and it sucks for these guys that put in so much effort. Yeah, Ash's final race ends like this.
So unfortunate, but you can only blame one man, and that one man was Crusher Bro. He was the cause of that entire collision, and I mean, it's cost half the field their race, and I'm sorry to admit it, as I say, probably one of the worst pieces of driving I think I've seen in CRC this season. And
just moved over. Yeah, you can't do that on the opening lap. I mean, like you say, the championship is not about the first lap. I think Sean came in as well, and he's away already. But Emmanuel's up to 8th. He's on the back end of Mia. I don't think Emmanuel got too much damage on that. John H. Racing Green, like we said, they got the better end of it. So did Andy and Nissim. I mean, Nissim dropped a position, but hey, he still has no damage. He's still running, so props to him. Steven 6, and yeah, it's risky. I mean, Jake's already out on track. Oh my goodness. Quick repairs. Honestly, I don't think they'd be that quick. But I mean, for Ash, that may be another story, but I cannot believe that happened. He just got too desperate on the start. We knew the championship was going to engulf him as H Racing Green maybe off. Nissim's off.
Oh, Nissim's off. Both making similar mistakes, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. As long as they keep it off the wall, they should be good. And Andy could pick up a podium today.
And Andy, this is the luckiest... Well, all of these guys that have avoided the collision, they should be feeling so lucky at this stage.
They just got to stay clean.
Only coming out the pits now.
Yep. Ash is still in the pits, yeah. It sucks. His final ever race, and it's going to have to end like this. Such a terrible send-off.
It's horrible. It is horrible. I don't know what he is feeling at this stage of the race, but... He's got to try and hope that there's a few crashes ahead of him to try and get back into this, but it is an impossible job out on track. Professional lead in 3.3 seconds, John 2nd, Andy in 3rd, and John and Andy would have been hoping in their wildest imaginations, they're probably thinking, oh, well, top 5's a good target. Top 3, I don't think, was on their rule book here tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we look at the points, I mean, I think it's for... Ash, he's 21 point... Is it 21 points? It's something like that. 191 to 207. I mean, he still needed a top 5. Now that Crusher's out of it, Ash is not even the points. So even if Professional doesn't even finish in the points and Ash can't get up there, he's going to win this championship. Obviously, he's most likely won it.
Yeah, Crusher Bro, just looking in the chat, saying, I think that he was not... he didn't really apologise, I think, for the incident. He just said he was stupid, and I think he summed it up himself, I think.
Oh boy, it's unfortunate that happened.
Real downer on the race.
Yeah. Professional leads. John is in 2nd, Andy's in 3rd. But yeah, puts a damper on the championship, you could say. Just a mistake from a driver. Obviously didn't mean to turn right off, across Ash, but at the same time was trying to hold him off before turn 2 to try and have a better footing against Professional as he climbed uphill towards turn 3. It's simple as that. He just wanted to have a better footing. He was hoping to clear Ash, and he wasn't clear. He got so desperate, and that's what happened.
Desperation was the biggest factor in that, I think, and to be honest, it's something that should never, ever, ever be repeated again. Ever. John, by the way, is lagging in behind. He's in 2nd, doing a good job, the Australian man out on track. Andy in 3rd, Nissim in 4th, H Racing Green 5th, Steve in 6th, and this race really has blown this race picture completely wide open, because some guys that you might not necessarily see within the top 5 in racing here in CRC are going to get those positions here tonight.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It really is, but Professional still leads, and it's weird. We've gone through 10 minutes of this race. In the last 9 minutes, we've gone in awe of what has happened.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is unfortunate, but I mean, harassment within the Discord as well, just having a look at some of the comments. Yes, it's stupid, but we all make mistakes. So I would just say, to be honest, let it go, let the stewards decide, and race on. Simple as that.
Yep. It could even be a race ban for the following season. We'll see how that turns out.
No need to complain now, complain after the race. Yep, focus on the job in hand, everyone.
I was just going to say, Nissim is under threat from H Racing Green in 4th place.
Little bit of lag.
Yeah, at least I'm not the only one getting it.
H Racing Green on the back of Nissim. I'll tell you what, H Racing Green is looking quite quick here tonight. The Bentley right on the back of the Mercedes. And again, H Racing Green, I'll be thinking at this stage, he wouldn't be expecting the top 5 in his wildest imagination coming into tonight. He's doing a fantastic job out on track, but Bentley trying to chase down the Mercedes down onto the Conroy Straight. Onto the Conrod Straight, I should say. But he's doing a good job. But these guys have just lost time to Andy, who is beginning to sneak closer to John. And Andy could end himself up in 2nd position soon.
Yep, and 36 minutes left. H Racing Green right in the back as Nissim's ran wide. We'll see if he's going to have a slowdown after this one. I think he may have to let him by of some sorts. But he's going to defend, moving under braking a little bit. I think that's so clean. But holding on is Nissim as he approached the very next lap.
You can see Ash going around in the background there as well, who has been lapped by these guys. And he is beginning to look... in terms of pace, he's the quickest out there on track in 13th position with a 2:07.3. Mia's down on the inside now of Emmanuel, and I think Emmanuel has got past him, actually. So Emmanuel through the 7th there.
Yep, just looking through the field, everyone's on their own race. I mean, Nissim is, again, under threat from H Racing Green, but... he's just defending quite well so far. Yeah, and you're seeing the same thing I'm seeing, James.
Yeah, Nissim is under pressure from H Racing Green. I've got to be honest, the Brit is on the back of the American here, and doing both a good job out on track. John's struggling with his damage, by the way, in 2nd, and Andy's beginning to close that gap. It's 2.5 seconds out on track. Professional leading the way, and H Racing Green, I tell you what, very close to the wall there, but he's right on the back, coming towards the highest point on the track, through the skyline section and running downhill. And H Racing Green, oh, he was having a look down the inside there, not going to get the move done. And Nissim is hanging on for grim life for 4th position as he just hits the wall. Goodness me, probably flying the kangaroos there a little bit, but Nissim through into P4 still. H Racing Green is on the back.
Yep. So 34 minutes left. Nissim is still in front, actually. That's caught the attention of Steve, who's not too far back. I thought it was him in the background, but I guess not. Maybe just a lapped car.
Yeah, I think that might have been... was that Ash, I think, in the background, possibly?
Yeah, that is Ash. He's in 13th.
Remember, he is the quickest guy out on track, is Ash.
Oh, yeah, he's setting some blistering times out there.
Oh, and Zandemar's off. Zandemar off, just flicking through there, and Ash is through, and he's up into P12. Maybe he should be more focused on the race in hand instead of parking to the side to make a comment. Simple as that. I'm just saying how it is.
Yeah. But professional leads. Not much to comment from that.
Andy 3 seconds off John, beginning to get closer still. I think H Racing Green is right on the back of Nissim as well. Andy doing a good job, and the Scotsman on for a very unlikely podium here, and a 2:08.6. He's lapping quicker than John ahead. So Andy has really got the bit between his teeth here tonight, and he's doing a good job. I mean, we're only 12 minutes of the way through the race. 007 professional leads. John in 2nd, Andy 3rd, Nissim 4th. H Racing Green 5th. Stephen 6th. Oh, Andy hits the wall coming up the hill there. That's a little bit of damage to the left side, but nothing too major, which is good to report. And Nissim in 4th, H Racing Green in 5th. Steve Emmanuel, Mia Olwoff. Sean in 9th, Racing at Home in 10th, McKinder for you in 11th, Ash in 12th, and Zandemar in 13th position. And Andy, predictably, I think, cutting the corner there because he couldn't make it because of that damage that he's received. He's now losing the time slightly to Nissim and H Racing Green in behind.
I was going to say 32 minutes left. Andy's in third, fourth Nissim, fifth H Racing Green. Everyone inside the top 10, they're getting their race along just fine. And Xanamar now back behind Ash. Ash is still carrying on. McKinda right there in 11th. And, Racing at Home is still carrying on in 10th. Maybe he'll carry on to that position. We'll see. McKinda is still fighting along. As we carry on, Manuel's in 7th, so he was able to get through that incident just fine. Yeah, John is starting to feel under threat from Andy, but he's right on board. He is gaining quite quickly. I'm not sure why that is. Do you think John has some damage?
John has got severe damage on that front end. I'm not sure. I don't think he's got suspension damage, but he's certainly got enough damage for him to really not focus on the track ahead. And he's now focusing on the guy behind. And Andy is catching 1.5 seconds roughly running up the hill. And Andy's beginning to close him down. I've got to be honest, I think I can see Andy in second position in a couple of laps' time. That Porsche quite quick through the corners, not that quick down the straight, but the Cadillac doing a good job in second.
Yeah, and Andy, again, he does have a good shot. He's only a second behind now. He has been gaining rapidly through this.
Nissim's pulled away from H Racing Green. That gap must be about 2 seconds now, I think, in terms of the timings, because the timings have glitched a little bit, but Nissim 4th, H Racing Green in 5th, and Andy looking good possibly for 2nd here, as long as he doesn't clip the wall, and he hasn't this time, which is good to see. He's now less than 2 seconds off the back of John, and as I alluded to, in qualifying, it is, or in the Tier 2 stream in fact, John has that home advantage. He is being willed on, essentially, by his home crowd out on track. And John is doing a fantastic job to really attribute that car well into the corners, even with significant damage. Andy is not getting closer, and that was proven last time around. John 2/10 quicker than Andy.
Yeah, I was going to say 30 minutes left, and he's only, again, a second or two behind. He needs to find some way to get around. He's right there within him. And it's ever so possible that he could get by, but again, you got to be a little bit more patient. I mean, looking through H Racing Green is still right behind Nissim, so he's got to be a little bit more patient as well.
Yeah, Ash made another mistake, I wonder. He's well off the back. Xanamar, by the way, has retired out of the race. No surprise there, really, given his attitude. H Racing Green on the back then of Nissim. Nissim to the inside line. H Racing Green trying to go around the outside here into the chase.
Park the bus.
And Nissim just parks it completely. And H Racing Green, to be honest, I don't think he was going to get past anyways. Just a little bit of contact. Nissim braking earlier for the corner than expected. And H Racing Green still in 5th position. And racing at home, by the way, another one out of the race.
Yep, so him, Xanamar out of the race. A little bit expected.
Oh, and this is Steve going for a move on Emmanuel. This is getting from absolutely nothing.
Made the move.
Emmanuel making the move on Steve, and Steve under pressure. Here comes Steve down the inside line, down in towards turn 1 at Hell Corner. Bit being like this race, to be honest, a bit of hell for a few of these drivers, but Emmanuel and Steve doing a good job, and they're keeping it clean up towards turn 2, and Steve looks like he might just outdrag the Mercedes, which is very rare to say from a Cadillac on the back of the Mercedes. The Mercedes obviously going to be quicker up the straight, but Steve braking earlier, but I think Emmanuel's outjudged this completely. He hasn't, and somehow he's got that stopped going in towards turn 2, and Emmanuel and Steve still 5th and 6th. Sorry, 6th and 7th, I should say.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job so far. So Emmanuel's up to 6th place, H Racing Green in 5th, 4th is Nissim, and
Andy's right on the back of John.
Oh my goodness, you can see anything happening within these final 30-something minutes.
Wow. Again, John just lagging about slightly, but Andy right on the back, just a little bit clonk against the wall there on the left-hand side. But Andy really driving this race well. I'm not sure if he's put the practice in. Oh, and that is definitely not what you like to see. John lagging into the wall and jumping up and replacing his car. That's what I think the guys up towards turn 2 on lap 1 would have been hoping for, I think.
Yeah. So 28 minutes left, and again, he's losing the time on the straights, believe it or not, a little bit. Maybe it could have been just the exit. Nissim's still ahead of H Racing Green. He's put on a good gap. Emmanuel's ahead of Steve, Mia, and then there's Sean in the points, McKinda and Ash. They're still in the race fighting.
Doing a good job though out on track. McKinnon still going around there in 10th position. He was one that got caught up in that collision. But it is good to see him still going, not like some of the other drivers that have retired from this race. I mean, to be honest, it's expected, but points is still going to be the order of the day. Emmanuel, by the way, has just dropped down significantly past Steve and past Mia, so he's now down into 8th, and I think he's got damage through the chase. He has. Emmanuel's made a significant mistake through there. He's now down into 8th position out on track. Nissan pulling away from H Racing Green, so Mia getting that overtake done. Emmanuel making that mistake, he's through, and he's up into 7th, the Lamborghini. But Andy's 5/10 off John, fee 5 full thumb. I hear the sound of a Scotsman on the back of an Australian.
If we check up here, yeah. That was Nissan almost in the wall. I just wanted to check up, but yeah, battle for second right now is Andy and John. Ooh. We knew John would be fast, but we didn't think he'd get up to second place through these means.
John just hitting the wall there slightly, gave Andy a little bit of a look in, but now Andy brushes against the wall, and now back advantage towards John. And looking at it is one of his home tracks here in Australia, and John's doing a fantastic job out on track. Andy similarly doing a fantastic job to be in 3rd position. Oh, and Andy again clips the wall. A little lag going on there, but he's not going to be teleporting into space like an alien, I'm afraid. But looking good. Very close to the wall there, though, John. And Andy can't use that Porsche speed to try and close in. That Cadillac's just quicker down the straight, and that is the difference, I think, between them both at the minute.
Yeah, so 26 minutes remain. John in 2nd, Andy in 3rd, and you know everyone is having their own pace. Steve was able to get by Emmanuel, and Mia fell to Emmanuel. So Emmanuel's up to 7th right now. He's trying to gain back on Steve.
Yeah, Mia's made a mistake, I think, hasn't he?
Yeah, most likely. Sean's in 9th, 10th is McKinnon. Ash could still get a point. Not really going to make much of a difference in this championship in the finale, but we'll see how this one plays out. Right now, Professional pushing on. Again, John in 2nd, trying to defend from Andy, who ran a little bit wide on the curb there. We'll see if he's able to defend at the exit of turn 1, heading to turn 2.
Not close enough. Andy is just not close enough. He doesn't carry the speed through the corners enough for him to gain on John. And that's because of the lack of speed in that Porsche. The Cadillac's slightly quicker down the straight. That's just proving the difference between these two at the minute. And to be honest, John doing a good job in 2nd. And I'll keep reiterating this point. They're both doing a fantastic job out on track. And by the way, just to point out, Ash, again, fastest man out on track at 2:07 flat, because he's running the slipstream of these two in front.
Yep, so right now, 24 minutes remain, and oh, John slapped the wall. Could have been more lag, probably more lag.
Yeah, lag, definitely. 2nd the gap, he's pulled it out actually a little bit. Coming up the hill, looking good, not clinking the wall there. Honking, clanking, clinking, saying many words of the similar variety, and that, I think, was definitely a hit of the wall there from John. He's just lost 2/10.
Yep, so we'll see how this one plays out.
Interesting Green and Nissim still looking quite consistent as well for 4th and 5th. They're about 5/10 away from each other as they come in. Don't take the timings on the left-hand side quite literally. Take the force of these cars. Probably about a 10th and a half now separating these two, running down the hill. H Racing Green getting very tight to the wall, just messing up his line slightly. It's very difficult to try and recover the line down the hill. And when H Racing Green just made that little mistake, it put him off a little bit. And now, Nissim ahead, just beginning to extend that gap out to probably about a 2nd as H Racing Green just goes wide slightly. And again, just losing his concentration slightly, but he's doing a good job and he's got the pace over Nissim.
Yeah, so right now, 23 minutes left. Steve is back there in 6th, and, you know, he's been trying to pick away at that gap in 5th place, but as it stands right now, Steve in 6th, and, you know, Emmanuel is back there as well. He has a comfortable gap, but if we look through the field, you know, Ash right behind. Andy is trying to catch John, but John is hanging on to P2 right now at his home race. Great for John.
Fantastic for John. There's Ash just getting through on Andy. Andy maybe just letting him through there, or John off into the gravel, but that was lag again. So Andy just beginning to lose a little bit of touch now, and Ash, I think, just giving him a little bit of a thank you there for letting him through. But now this could really help Andy in the chase for 2nd, because he's now within the slipstream again of Ash, who is now ahead of him. And I think H Racing Green and Nissim might be side by side if in the background. It's looking very close in the background between them both. And it's 4th and 5th, and they're running up the hill, I think, just towards turn 2. Oh, and that was John nearly making a bit of a mistake there against the wall. Ash currently nearly looking for the move there, possibly, on John. But John's still in second, Ash still in third, 2.3 seconds now, the gap. And H Racing Green still staying consistent to Nissim, and really, that's the only battles that we've got out on track.
Yep, so right now, 22 minutes left. Andy, I mean, the gap is starting to get a little bit bigger. If you look with John right now, he has Ash right there.
Oh, dearie me. Like a bouncing kangaroo through that section here tonight, John. Halfway through as well. Halfway through professional leads. John second, Andy in third. Ash lapping quicker than most of the guys around him. Sadly, he's not going to gain any positions unless there's some form of disconnections ahead or contact and they're into the pits for about a minute. Then Ash would probably come into play. But turn 2, lap 1, just really ruined the whole race entirely. And I can understand why people are frustrated. But, I mean, come on, we're all grown people at the end of the day. People make mistakes. Get on with it and just focus on the next race and on next season. Simple.
I mean, I totally understand the argument. 8 hours of 8 to 10, even days of practice that, you know, you put in. I totally understand where that argument is coming from. It's just, again, it's the season finale, not much to go for. And
if this was a couple of races before the end of the season, then I think there will be more of a case for what happened.
Well, yeah, not only that, but even
yeah,
like what's the point of being upset about it?
I mean, well,
not
as
much
I
is
say,
going
we're
to
all
change.
men at the end of the day. Yeah, Ash just going through there on John. So he's lapping quicker. 208 flat, by the way, professional. Just to pick up on his lap, 206.7. Fastest lap of the race, I think.
I think he's just going for a fun ride. He knows that even if he crashes out, that he still won this thing. I mean, Crusher's out of the race. He's retired since he flipped the car on the opening lap. We'll see, but John in second. Third is Andy. Fourth, Nissim. Fifth is Steve. Sixth, Emmanuel. Seventh, H Racing Green. Eighth is Mia. Ninth is Sean. 10th is McKinda. And 11th is Ash. That is how we run with 20 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, doing a good job out on track. Professional, just dominating out in front. And this is what it looks like, to be honest, when you are just in pretty much a world of your own. We're all in our world of our own currently with everything that's going on within the world. But Professional particularly has done a fantastic job out on track. He's just kept it so consistent, lap upon lap upon lap. But by the time race, I could see that gap being around 40-45 seconds possibly. Looking at that gap, it's extending out lap upon lap. He's 3 seconds quicker pretty much than John last time around. And it just comes to show what pace he's got around here in Bathurst. And it comes to show what practice can really do. H Racing Green, by the way, has dropped down to 7th. I think he's made a mistake. Just noticed that on the left-hand side. So Steve now up to 5th, Emmanuel up to 6th. H Racing Green now in 7th position. So H Racing Green clearly making a mistake. 229.2 on that last lap of the race there. But with 19 minutes to go, Professional leads and the gap above 25 seconds. Andy's beginning to get closer again to John in second, 1.3 seconds, and Andy quicker than John by 1.3 seconds last time around, so he's getting close.
Yep, I mean, John in second, Andy in third. We'll see how this one plays out. Nissim in fourth, fifth is Steve. Emmanuel is lawn mowing, inventing a new Mercedes lawnmower, coming to the nearest facility near you.
Emmanuel doing a good job though out on track. H Racing Green with that mistake just put him on the back foot a little bit in that Bentley, and he just looks a little bit lopsided on the left hand side, which is probably attributing to his pace around here now. But H Racing Green hopefully going to try and catch Emmanuel by the end of this race. I mean, we've got 18 minutes to go and Emmanuel has picked up a penalty, probably a second I'm thinking, out on track.
Yeah, So right now, 18 minutes left. I mean, I'm just looking through the field. There's some good battles going on. And honestly, I just realized H-Racing Green's down in 7th, and Emmanuel has a little bit of a time penalty. His windshield wipers are going off as well. But Nissim running well in 4th. I think just H-Racing Green made a mistake while trying to chase down Nissim. Andy is right on the back of John again, waiting for a mistake to unravel.
But doing a good job out on track is Andy. I mean, at least he is focusing on the job, rather like some people in the Discord, but there we go, that's a discussion for another thing. Andy right on the back of John, and again, he's just getting close enough, but he's never close enough to get that move, and that's the slight problem, I think, that Andy has got. He's got the pace, but he cannot find a way through, and John with the damage is just equally doing a fantastic job out on track. The 206.8, by the way, from Professional. Well quicker than what we have seen. And Ash, 206.9 last time around as well. John, slight mistake. And now Andy's on the back of him, and this could be the opportunity for the Porscheman, the Scotsman, right on the back of the Australian at his home track. Little bit of contact slightly, but it looks like John's all fine. He runs wide through the final corner, but that's due to the lag, and Andy's on the back, running down the straight, and it's only about 0.3 of a second as they come across the line. To start will be lap 14 for these guys, and John again lagging slightly, but Andy on the back, and this is Andy's closest opportunity for him to get the move done.
Yep, and I mean, Andy, he's been there. He's finally within car's length of trying to reach and take that position, but right now John hangs on. Andy may wait to make a move.
Yeah, Andy's on the back. He's just looking all over John's back end at this stage. He's under pressure, is John, but he's handling the pressure well. And to be honest, out on track as he takes another kangaroo jump there against the wall, John in 2nd, doing a good job. And just through that particular section of the track, he's just gained out that gap to about a second now. And he's beginning just to gain a little bit more confidence. So John beginning to get into 2nd position, maybe get into his groove slightly as well.
Right, yep, 15 minutes, 46 seconds remain. There was some lag, but we're all good. And he
15 minutes remaining. God, this race has gone so slowly, I think.
A little bit, yeah, I could see that. Professional leads dominating this race through unfortunate circumstances.
Steve's doing a good job, though, in 5th. Just looking on board with him, he's gained past Emmanuel. He's got a penalty as well. I think it's the 2nd, as I say, the penalty. So Steve doing a good job. He's been one of the guys that hasn't been necessarily as quick tonight, but has stayed out of trouble through turn 2, especially on lap 1. And honestly, Steve doing a fantastic job out on track. Consistency, practice pays off around this track at Bathurst. And Steve, I don't think I've seen him hit the wall this race, so he's doing a fantastic job.
Yep, so 14:51 remain in this race. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm really keen to see what happens here as John doesn't get the best exit. You know, P2 is still up for grabs, which is fantastic.
P2 is up for grabs and Andy is on the back. I mean, it's 30 seconds now, the gap to the leaders. I don't think they'll give one care in the world as John runs wide through turn 1. That was a mistake from John, trust me. It looked like a bit of lag, but Andy is now on the back, and it's now 0.3 of a second probably running up the hill towards turn 2. Scene of that infamous crash in on lap 1, but Andy on the back of John trying to get the move done. The Porsche, the inside line of the Cadillac, but the Cadillac hangs firm, and the Australian, knowing like at his back of his hand, is still in 2nd position.
Yep, so 14 minutes remain. Andy is right on John. He's been on there for around the past 20 minutes trying to make a move, and he just has not had the time to do so. He needs to get a little bit closer to see if that move can pay off. We'll see. I'm quite curious. I mean, Andy's been ultra consistent, staying right back behind John. Eventually, he's going to get a good exit and make an overtake, but right now, Andy's just got to be a little bit patient, and he could get his first podium of the season if he's just waiting enough. I mean, Nissim is behind by around 10-15 seconds. Don't think he's going to catch, but if something happens, he's right there. But yeah, I was going to say, Professional still leads, 32-second gap, and look through the field. I know Emmanuel's time penalties by how much? It's only a second, so he's good. I mean, H Racing Green is 3 seconds behind, so he's sort of under threat, but he should be good. Mia is slow off the corner, may have made a slight mistake, but Sean is in 9th, McKinda is in 10th, and 11th is Ash still, so he's farther back than he anticipated. Hopefully, he was hoping to be back in the points, and I think, did we just see an overtake? I thought we did. I think we're all good. John is hanging on, and it is 12 minutes remaining, and John is hanging on at P2.
Again, running wide, clips the wall there. Another mistake there from John, and this is Andy's opportunity. Closer as he's ever has been, really, to try and get the move done. Just speaking, I think you saw an overtake. I'm not sure if it was Mia getting past Sean for P8. So I think Mia's now up to P8, passing Sean. I'm not sure. Again, I can't confirm that. I've just literally looked at the screen and thought, oh, he might be up in position. But John is still fighting the back. And I think Professional, if I'm not mistaken, has made a slight mistake out on track, because that gap was 32 seconds. It's now 30 seconds and just less than that. So Professional maybe either taking it easy out on track, or he's just made a slight mistake.
Yep, and he's right on the rear end, waiting to make a move. And the battle for P2 has been, like I said, going on for the past 20 minutes. And for John, he's at his heels trying to hang on to P2 in his home country. And Andy's right there trying to get his first podium of this of the races or season as well.
Yeah, Andy is. I'll tell you, you've got to really tip your hats to these guys. They've kept it so consistent out on track. They've been battling each other out on track. I'm sure there will be a lot of positivity between these two within the chat after this race, because they have both driven really astute races. And oh my God, he's just nearly jumped over the hoarding, the Monster Energy hoarding there. Thinking it's the bloody Grand National or something there, John. Goodness me. But he's still in second. Andy hits the wall on the back of shot, but not enough to keep the car going. But honestly, John doing a good job, Andy doing a good job, and it's good to see good battling out on track, which we are all here for.
Yeah, so 10 minutes left. John's still hanging on. Do you think John can finish in P2, or do you see Andy getting by?
Looking how this race has progressed, I think John, honestly, could be on for P2. He just skirts across the grass slightly, getting his lawnmower out underneath that car. But John doing a good job out on track. And at the minute, as I've been saying the last 10 minutes or so, Andy has been getting close enough to the back of John, but never close enough to get that overtake done. He cannot force John into that mistake, and John is keeping it so consistent on the road. He's probably using the back of his hand as directions around here, to be honest, as he just goes wide slightly, but doing a good job out on track. And John actually lapping quicker than Professional last lap around by 9/10 of a second.
Yep, so 10 minutes left in this race. John is ahead, Andy in second, Nissim is in fourth, hanging on.
H-Racing Green's quite close to the back of Emmanuel, but I'm not sure if that's a... I thought it was about a second, the gap. No, it's not.
He just made a mistake there.
Yeah, it's just my eyesight. He was about 9/10 off him at one stage.
Yeah. Quite curious, but Andy and John, I mean, it's just been like this ever since John has been hooked to that track, and Andy's been hooked right to the rear end of that Cadillac. And again, he's not gotten by at all this race, but what a story it would be if anything happened to Professional. He just slows down or makes a mistake and John wins this race. What a story that would be. But you know, Professional's been leading on 17 laps. All of it has been his. And actually, I think he may have went wide, but no, he's good. And Andy loses the rear end.
Gets his rear wing.
Oh, what a heartbreak.
His podium completely gone.
If he's able to hang on to it for 8 more minutes, he should be good.
8 minutes, 22 seconds the gap to Nissim. It's going to prove to be a bit of a bad car going down the into the braking zones, especially. We'll see how he copes down into the chase. Sean, by the way, is into the pits, has lost the move. And has lost the position actually to McKinda, and will lose the position to Ash as well. So Ash will get points out of this race, with Sean now being in the pits. But Andy taking it steady down towards the braking zone. We can see it's just knocked his confidence slightly. Does he pit in for a rear wing replacement? I don't think he should. And actually, that rear wing just appeared for me on my screen, so I'm not sure what happened there. That was strange. I saw his rear wing just pop up on the back of his car.
Yep, so 8 minutes left. I think he's still going to be good. He's going to try carrying on, which would be very, very impressive if he does. Probably his most, very, very, how do I put it? Very, very hard drive to go on throughout the entire race. I think somebody is retired as well.
That was Sean out of the race.
Oh, that's unfortunate. He was going to get 2 points in this race, but now Ash is going to get a point, believe it or not. He's going to get a point. But yeah, like I said, for Andy, if he can carry this on for 7 minutes and maintain his position, what a fantastic effort in this race. He's dodged incidents, he lost his rear wing, and he's still pushing on, and he's trying to get his first podium this season. That's fantastic of Andy. John in second, and Professional right now is still leading this thing on lap 18, headed to lap 19.
Yeah, he's 5 seconds up, but I'll tell you what, he's 18 seconds up the road from Nissim. As long as he keeps that car going in third, he's going to be on for a podium. Professional, though, has just dominated. Dominated is the word I'm using, and he's doing a fantastic job out on track. So Professional is going to be winning the championship. Two of the fellow championship contenders, Ash, obviously caught up in that collision with Crusher. And we have to really not dwell on that incident. Of course, it will be left up to the stewards to their own devices. And Andy beginning to struggle. Nissim is beginning to sneak closer. And do you know what? If that rear wing damage is really affecting him out on track, this could open up possibilities for Nissim, Steve, Emmanuel, and maybe even H Racing Green to snick a top 5, maybe even a podium off Andy.
And I will say, 6 minutes left. Professional still leads. Nissim is in fourth. Andy's in third. I mean, a lot of these guys are still hanging on. And believe it or not, Professional's pulling away from everybody. Now Nissim is a minute behind. And Andy is actually pulling away from Nissim, who I think Nissim may have some damage, but I don't think even that much. Steve's in fifth, 6 is Emmanuel. 6, Emmanuel has 1 second still, and 2 seconds behind is H Racing Green. H Racing Green could still get 7th or 6th place if he gains a second or so, keeps within Emmanuel. Remember, he did cut part of the track earlier in this race, and I don't think he slowed down enough, but he slowed down enough where he could cut it. We will see, and we have 5 minutes remaining. Closest battle we have on track. Could say Steve, Emmanuel, and H Racing Green. Let's ride on board with H Racing Green. Where do you think he's going to finish in this race?
H Racing Green, I've got to be honest, I think he'll stay maybe as he is in 7th position. It just depends on how much Andy is being gained by Nissim and Steve. At the minute, I'm making it out at about 3-4 seconds a lap in terms of these guys gaining on Andy. 13 seconds the gap currently, and it's actually just dropped down to 12, and maybe even down to 11 seconds soon, because Andy really beginning to struggle with that rear wing damage, and Nissim, Steve beginning maybe to sneak into play for a final podium position. And I didn't think I'd say that with 4 minutes and 50 seconds to go.
Yep, like we said, 4.5 minutes left in this race. Cannot believe we're...
Yeah, the incident has been submitted, by the way, just to give everyone an update on the stream. The incident has been investigated, so I'm sure that'll get looked at.
Yep. Nissim going through. He's still in 4th. Andy has pinned it in the wall.
Andy's off. It's really hard to control that car with no rear wing. And now Andy has got a big, big task on his hands. It's still 10 seconds the gap. He's still got enough there. But
hopefully he hangs on.
Not make another mistake. Yeah, hopefully he hangs on. I'm willing them to hang on, to be honest. I want to see him.
And Nissim's car is torn up as well.
Yeah, Nissim lopsided on the right-hand side, I think, of that car. Looking okay through there. Steve, Emmanuel, getting a little bit closer as well. But Andy's 8 seconds ahead of Nissim, and I'm looking at the gap, and it's just coming down constantly. And Andy might be a sitting duck here from Nissim to pick up a very unlikely P3, but you never know what could happen. It's still Bathurst at the end of the day, and still anything can happen.
All right. So 3:15 remain, and, you know, Nissim is less than 10 seconds now. He can actually see Andy's car in the distance. We'll see if he can grab P3 in his final race of the season.
Yeah, Nissim is closing in on Andy, and I've got to be honest, 6 seconds now, that gap is coming down pretty much a couple of tenths per corner. Andy at the end of the lap could be a sitting duck. I tell you what, though, I think Stephen Emmanuel's looking quite close in the background.
Oh, and Andy.
Oh, and Andy's into the wall again.
Riding on board with Nissim.
This is for P3. This is going to be him through, surely. But on a part of the track where we can't really overtake,
He's going to make it
Andy
happen.
lets him through.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
He's got suspension damage, and he could be out of this racing because Steve and Emmanuel are right on this, on the back here.
That's so unfortunate. He was having such a good race, and now Andy could have gotten a podium in his final race, and it's just gone to ruins. He's just got to defend now without taking anybody out. He's going to run wide, let them go by, and actually, is he going to slow down? He will before Emmanuel right there merges, and H Racing Green is actually farther back than that, so I think H Racing Green sort of made a mistake, but now Emmanuel's on the back end of Steve, and he could get a 4th place out of this thing.
Oh, Steve makes a mistake running down the hill into the braking zone, got very close to the left-hand side wall there, and Emmanuel now through up to P5 as a result of Andy with the low front wing and with the suspension damage as well, visible suspension damage running down the straight. He can hardly keep that control, and I think he's going into pause mode. He could be retiring the car, or has he had a mechanical fault out on track because he's just pulled off to the side there. I think Andy's done here. Oh no, he's keeping on going.
Yeah, he's still good. He's ghosting. Whether that engine blows is up to...
He's had a gearbox. He's had a gearbox failure. He's had an engine failure there.
Yeah, well, it's shocking. I think he's just stuck in the lower gear. Emmanuel's right on the back end of Steve to try and make a move. Williams, by the way, having a fantastic day in this race, and yep, he's gone.
Oh, that's so unfortunate for Andy. I mean, a minute to go.
And actually, Steve could get a podium. Nissim has a second penalty.
Wow, this is that looks more than a second. That looks about 3 seconds. I've got
if he closes in, it's possible. It's, I think, either a lap or 2 to go. This should be. We're heading to the final lap now, unless Professional wants to slow down and make sure this is the final lap.
He could do. He's got plenty of time to do it, but whether he does, I think it'll be similar to what we saw at Long Beach last week. He will not slow down.
It's 44 seconds. It's 44 seconds. He could just stop there if he wanted to.
He's got to be careful, though, because there are cars behind him visibly on the racetrack. So Professional, I think, he's going to go on to the final lap of the race, and he will. Yeah.
1 more lap to go. He could have slowed down if he wanted to.
John in second's driven really well, the Australian. On his Tolman track, he's driven a fantastic race. Obviously, unfortunate for everyone caught up in the incident, but John has driven such an astute race. He's going to hopefully finish in 2nd position. Nissim and Steve, I tell you what, that is looking quite close now.
It's definitely possible. And again, Williams, what a day they could have if they can soup up a double podium. First time in a long time that they've gotten a double podium in CRC.
Just runs a little bit wide there, and now Emmanuel's right on the back of Steve. Much better run now, down the Conrod straight for the penultimate time for these guys. The time remaining is not applicable to these guys. It will be when Professional comes across the line, of course. And now Steve is under pressure from Emmanuel, not feeling pressure as he has done in the race before. And Emmanuel on the back, running down towards the chase, trying to get the move done. Oh, and he switches around the outside. What a move by Emmanuel. Can he get the move done?
He's off track.
He's just about got the car ahead. He's off the track and he gives the positions back up to Steve. But I tell you what, my God, the commitment on the brakes was absolutely phenomenal. Emmanuel, he's nearly into the back as well of Steve. But my God, he's just nearly centred around the outside of him.
Yeah, it may have costed him.
Ahead, he just couldn't get stopped.
It may have costed him 3rd place. He could have gone with time penalties, but now, a lap to go, he's really going to have to make up that pace and make sure Emmanuel doesn't pass to make sure to get P3. He needs around 4 tenths to get to that podium, and he's flashing those lights, and he's saying, I want that podium within 1 second, and I don't think it's going to happen now. We will see.
Yeah, the gap, I think, is honestly more than what the timing suggests, to be honest, out on track. Professional, I think it might be coming towards the final couple of corners, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Professional, he's just slowing down.
A dominant win.
A dominant win, and he's held up all front.
Arguably, though, it would have been a different story, I think, if the collision didn't take place and half the field was wiped out. But Professional, nonetheless, is going to take it. Oh, and Ash is just going past McKinder in the background, actually, for 8th position. So Ash is through on McKinder for 8th. Professional across the line. He's going to take the win, and he's going to flash the
Ferrari
lights
salute.
Brilliant.
So Professional is your Season 4 champion. Oh my goodness, it's finally happened. And you know what? I remember last season, I want to stay with this battle. I remember last season when Ash took his 2nd championship. I remember Professional said, I'm going to go all out next season. I'm going to be Professional 2.0. And you know, nobody really believed him. Maybe Ash a little bit because he was his teammate, but nobody really believed him. And here we go. He had the likes of Crusher up against him. He had Ash, defending 2-time champion. And now it's finally happened. Professional, your Season 4 champion. And alongside Tier 2 champion of Agulator. Fantastic season it has been. Fantastic. And Steve is within... I don't think he's within enough. And Emmanuel's too far back to make a move. Unless he'd be late on the brakes here.
Late onto the break. I'll tell you what, Steve is beginning to run a little bit low here, and
Emmanuel can make a move.
Emmanuel's on the back.
Yeah,
and
but
Steve could be close enough to miss him, actually.
I think Steve's just trying to hang on to P4 here. And Steve's going to hang on.
Listen, sorry, P3. Steve, P4, yeah.
That's how it is, and he spun him across the line as Steve lets off the throttle. Who else are we waiting on? H-Racing Green, P6. Good finish to the season for him. And that Bentley, fantastic race indeed. And he does get credited with 10th place. A single point after retiring within the 80% margin. Fantastic season it has been for Professional. You know, he's not going to do any burnouts. He just wants to save the car. You know, not sure why. I'd be doing burnouts. But congratulations to Professional on his first championship. Fantastic. And Ash, right there, he got 8th place across the line. And McKinda as well. Who else are we waiting for? Mia? I think
there's a massive crash in the background there. Mia is coming around the final corner. He's the final one to come across the line. And he's going to be in 7th. And again, another one that was quite lucky through the session. And he finishes in 7th position, the Italian.
Yep, and that's the race. John Dog on the podium. And we're going to get driver interviews in here with Professional, John Dog, and Nissim. What a race it has been. All right, so how do you rate that race? We've been rating the races the entire season, you know, from 1 to 10. What's your take on today's race?
I've got to be honest, obviously with the collision that unfolded out on track, then it's put a dampener on things. Overall, the action was good, but not that great. And to be honest, I'm going to have it as a 6.
Yeah, honestly, I'm going to have it as a 4, most likely. I mean, the racing was good between, you know, from 2nd all the way down to 8th. We had a good racing. Ash picked up McKinley on the final lap. But we're going to get some driver interviews in here. Just hold on a second. So, James, as I invite them, just continue talking about the race for a minute or two.
It was a fantastic race, of course, and it's a shame that people were caught up in the incident, and it's a shame about some of the behaviour as well within the Discord, and I'm sure you guys obviously can't see what happens within the Discord, but people should really be ashamed of themselves, I think, tonight, and I'm not going to name any names because that's just unprofessional of me, but I say as it is, and I think I'm of the right opinion, to be honest, and honestly, out on track, it was great racing. John and Andy just unlucky with the loss of the front wing coming down the hill in towards turn 19 for Andy. So unlucky. He was nearly there for podium and didn't have the race, and it was so unfortunate. But out on track, Professional took it, dominant win, and the American has absolutely just taken this out on track. And Ash, by the way, I think got fastest lap of the race as well.
Congrats to him on that. I was going to say, I'm not going to say that they should be ashamed. I just think that at the time, at the moment, you know, it just wasn't, I'm not going to say it wasn't the right thing to do. Obviously, lap 1 with what happened, you're obviously going to be upset about it. And the only thing to do is just submit clips, look at next season, see what the result is. But we have our Season 4 champion joining us in the party, and it's been a long time coming. He's professional 2.0, as he quoted last season. And, you know, not the best circumstances to win it, but, you know, you earned it. And how do you feel after that?
Oh, it's definitely not the way I wanted to win. You know, from lap 1, from turn 2, and I'll just get straight to it. I was just gutted when I saw Ash in the air and Crusher in the air, and you know, we'll leave it up to the stewards and what happens. Definitely not how I wanted the last race to go. I wanted to have a clean, fair fight and have my teammate with me in second, and just bring it home. You know, with the 1-2 that we had discussed and had planned for. So that's why I kind of backed out on the last lap, and we wanted to cross the line together, but he was fighting with Makinda, and yeah, it's been a long time coming, and I'm so happy that, you know, the whole season just went really well, and, you know, just never give up, and, you know, 3 races ago, I didn't think it was possible to make this happen, and I'm just super glad that it happened, so thank you guys so much.
I have a question, James.
Absolutely fantastic win out on track, professional. Lucky win, if I've got to say so myself as well, with what's happened. Obviously, you came into the race in second in the championship. How on earth did you keep that car out of the wall?
A lot of practice, about 160, 170 laps of practice since last Saturday. Did 2 race sims last night at like 1 a.m. and had the pace, was doing low 105s, high 105s the entire race, U6s. So the pace was there if I wanted to. But after that lap 1 incident, I turned it way down, turned the engine down, and just brought it home cleanly and safely. So I was being quite cautious, to say the least. I guess that's how you keep it out of the wall in Bathurst.
Yep. So this marks your final drive of Season 4, but, you know, you're not going to be racing at all next season for Touring Car, IndyCar, LMP3. With what happened today, it's... Whew. I mean, it gives you better reason to stay out of season, just rest up a little bit, all that chaos. But, you know, with Assetto Corsa coming in at Season 6, I know you'll be ready, but, you know, it's been fantastic having you on. And actually, next season, you know, you'll be joining James in the booth. You're going to start asking, you know, these types of questions to people. How does that make you feel?
Oh, it feels good. Yeah, and I'll definitely be back for Season 6. ACC, and I think me and Ash will come back, and we'll bring back the Bulldog racing team, and I think we'll hopefully give something for people to watch. But I'm definitely excited to be alongside you, James, and hopefully that I can, you know, kind of be, you know, somewhat at your level. You're an amazing commentator, and to, you know, commentate against you for LMP3s is an honor. So we'll see what happens, and looking forward to it.
A James compliment, Davis. Thank you very much, though. Much appreciated, and you're well deserved for the championship win. Well deserved. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Yep, and thank you for joining us in the party. Congratulations on your Season 4 championship, and very happy that you finally won after seasons of hard work. It finally paid off for you.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go and have a drink if I may. Yep. Definitely deserve it.
Yep.
Thank you guys again.
All right. All right, from one happy story to another, John Dog gets a podium at his home track. And it's been a long time coming, but, you know, he's going to join us in the booth for the first time, as we'll be not answering his questions. He probably doesn't have any questions. But we'll be asking him some questions on how today's race unraveled. And, yeah, what a weekend it has been.
Fantastic weekend. I've got to be honest, the 2 Cadillacs, Steve, you shouldn't really take anything away from him out of the track as well. Kept it clean, kept it out of the wall as well, finished 4th in that race and drove a fantastic race. And the Cadillacs should be really proud of themselves, as John has just joined in.
Yep. So I will say, congratulations on P2 at your home track. It must make you feel very, very happy. But before I ask you any questions, just got to make sure your mic audio is shared with others, because this is the first time we're interviewing you. So I just want to make sure your audio gets out. Hey.
Yeah, I've got it on share audio, so should be all good.
All right, so that first lap, you're probably thinking to yourself, there's no way I'm going to get, a podium and, with everything going on. And then all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, you're P2.
Yeah, I know. It was like the waters parted, mate. Very surprising.
Yeah.
Well, semi-surprising. It's a pretty risky lap one at that track anytime. So, yeah, to see a big crash wasn't too much of a surprise, but to sneak on through was pretty cool.
Yep. All right, so I was going to say that first lap, I mean, you have a lot of experience at Bathurst. Have you seen anything like that in the past, any big incident like that? I mean, like you said, you're luckily able to sneak your way through and take P2, but you also had a heavy challenge from Andy that race, as he was luckily able to get by as well. Again, your take of turn 2 was quite interesting. Like you said, have you ever seen something like that?
But to be honest, I have. It's more than once. I've seen some major incidents on turn 2 and 3. With multiple cars at the early parts of a race, and everything changes. Doesn't matter where you qualify in that race. You can qualify last and still be in with a chance. So it's just the nature of it. And Andy, yeah, fantastic. He done a great job. But it was funny. I'm not sure if it was downforce or what the case was, but he was faster in certain areas. But there's a couple of prime spots or key spots in that track that if you've got them, it's very hard to pass. And I just happened to be quick in those couple of spots, so I was pretty fortunate.
Have any questions, James?
Drove a great race out there, John, and well done on the second place as well. Were you driving with the track map on your left hand by any chance during that?
On my left hand?
On your left hand, yeah, because Alan said in commentary that you would know the track off the back of your hand.
Oh, but yeah, well, I had the track map on, but only to see other people. But yeah, I know the track pretty well. It does make a bit of a benefit, so it's definitely, but it doesn't make it easy. It's a bugger of a place. One slip and you're in the wall,
That's why it's one of my favourite tracks. Honestly, Bathurst always produces crashes and good action as well, and we saw some good overtaking. Did you ever feel at that point in the race Andy would get you at some point?
Well, I wouldn't have been surprised if he did. I knew that he had me on the straights and in the braking zones, so that's a couple of risky spots there, especially at the bottom of the straight there. He was considerably faster, but I was kind of pulling it up a little bit more than I had to as well, just to be a bit more cautious, to try and be around there still on the track at the end was important, so luckily it worked out. Unfortunate for him, I saw it in the mirror where he brushed off the wall and got some damage. That was a bit of a shame, but he done really well. So yeah, great race.
Any more questions, James? I think we're good, right?
I think that's it from me. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any more questions.
So much, guys.
Yeah.
Excellent race. Thanks for putting it together.
Yeah, congrats, John, on P2 at your home track.
Yep, awesome, mate. Thank you. See you guys.
See ya.
All right, and our final interviewee will be Nissim. So why don't we get...
Has he finished in the podium this season?
I mean, he ended up winning, Sugo. I'm not sure if you interviewed him or not.
Did I? I think I did.
You better. I mean, he won his first race. You better interview him then, or else we're interviewing now. Alright, so why don't we wait for Nissim to join? So while this happens, what a chaotic season it's been. It's probably our only season commentating together. I'll step in every now and race if professional can't make it. It's been fantastic being alongside of you, meeting other commentators along the way. It's been great as season finale. I knew tensions would brew up. I didn't think it'd be by that much. But yeah, we have our third place man, Nissim, joining us in the party. And again, he qualified fourth. He was thinking, okay, a podium may be likely, but you have your big three up there. Maybe not so much, but after turn 2, he said, yeah, it seems likely. Nissim, how'd you do it?
Well, I had, first of all, a start. Had a much better start than the guys in front. Would have easily passed them, but the track is a bit, narrow. So I ended up being squeezed out by everybody else. So I was down to 10th, which then again helped me avoid the incident in front. Yeah, from then on it was just keeping it on track. The car was damaged, obviously suspension and the front aero, the engine as well. So difficult race, could have been a lot nicer for everybody.
Any questions, James?
Great drive from Unison to finish in third position, and honestly, were you expecting third position coming into this race?
Yeah, the pace was pretty good. In qualifying, I was equally as quick as Crusher. Just I think he beat me by half a tenth in qualifying. Race pace was about the same as they were doing, like low 206s, high 205s, but with the damage, it was like 4 to 5 seconds slower. So, had it gone properly, the first lap, the first couple of corners, I think it would have been a similar position as I am right now.
Yep. Any more questions? I don't think I have any, Mark.
I don't think I have any more. I think that basically covers what I wanted to say.
All right, well, thank you, Nissim, on joining us. Congratulations on your P3 and a fantastic season, where you got your first win. I was really happy that we were able to get that at Sugo. You've gotten many podiums this season. Congrats on another fantastic drive today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, and I think, honestly, we do have time. Why don't we get Andy in here? He was going to get third, and I feel bad for him a little bit.
Have to get him in now. I can't imagine what he's thinking.
All right, why don't we get him in here? I feel bad for him a little bit. I thought he was going to get his first podium. It's unfortunate. I wish we could get Tier 2 interviews as well, but with Tier 1 right after the race, it doesn't seem possible at times. All right, let's see if we can get Andy in here. There he is. What a race that was. You thought you got third. I do feel bad. Throughout the chaos and madness of lap 1, and I was thinking, and because of this, Andy's going to get third. I was excited a little bit, You won the evaluation race. We had high hopes, and, I thought you were going to get your first podium. I just feel bad. So did you have damage leading up to that, or was it just a simple mistake?
So, how I got through turn 1, I don't know. That's the first part. That was just insane. And then the main bit, I really wanted to attack John, but he was lagging very badly on my screen. He was to the point he was 20 foot in the air at some points. So I was really timid trying to make a move. And then as we got to the end of the race, he had a bit where it lagged, and I just got distracted, hit the wall, and it took my rear wing off. That was about 10 minutes to go. And that took me, I lost about 30 miles an hour down the straights, and then it just caused me to, coming down to Forest Elbow over the crest, it just broke free at the rear and put me in the wall, damaged the front, 23 on the front right suspension, and then eventually the engine just blew itself up because too much damage in the front meant it was wearing out, so I ended up with a blown engine. I was trying to get it to the end, but yeah, frustrating as hell, that's for sure.
Yep. I was gonna say, with that going on, we talked to John, and we were talking about the madness of what happened in Turn 1. He's seen stuff like that before. He's raced around this track a lot. Have you ever seen a crash with that magnitude before, or no?
In Bathurst, oh yeah. It's, people forget it's actually a street circuit technically.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very, very narrow, especially going up the first straight up towards turn 2. It really does get narrow, so it's such a shame that it ruined a championship battle, because obviously it took Ash and Crusher out of it. That would have been obviously exciting to watch back with you guys on stream, but things happen, I guess. It's just one of those frustrating things. We'll need to see what people's point of views were on them. It'll be interesting to see some of them, I'm sure.
I don't think I have any more questions, and I think we could wrap it up there. Any more, James?
I was bigging Andy up during the stream, and maybe there's a slight commentator's curse in there.
We said that on tier 2, yeah.
That seems to be my theme over the last couple of days now. I seem to pretty much curse anyone now.
Yeah, well, it's fine. I've cursed enough people in my time. It's about time it came back and bit me in the backside anyway. But looking forward to the touring cars in a couple of weeks. Hopefully get some good results there, and yeah, bring on season 5.
How do you feel you're going to get on in the touring cars, actually?
I don't mind the touring cars. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind them. Obviously, I remember when we done TTP cars, obviously, before we merged with CRC, and remember I had the touring cars at Donington with the Renault Roulette, and I was right up the crusher the entirety of that race. So I'm hopeful. I've done a wee bit of practice with them, but I don't know what anyone else's pace with them is like, so just need to wait and see. But it's going to be fun, something a little bit different before we get into the LMP's 3 cars for Season 5, which I'm not too sure how that's going to go quite yet. I've still to work out a happy setup yet.
Alright, I think that concludes it. Anything else?
That's it for me, yeah.
Yep, that's for me. Well, unfortunately, I mean, you did get a point. You did get a point. So, I mean, there are others in this race that got nothing. So, I mean, I would, if you wanted a positive takeaway, it would be that. But it's unfortunate. You had P3 in your name and just a slight tap of the wall and you lost your rear wing. And, you know, you're managing it quite well for 10 minutes or so until, I think you...
Yeah, I was doing quite well. It's just, it was a straight line speed. It was like 30 miles down, so I was trying to make up in the braking zones, but again, the car was just, with no downforce at the back, it was quite skitterish at the rear, so it just wasn't the easiest thing to drive, but hey, what can you do? Hey ho, that's all it is. Really frustrated though. If you watch my stream back, you'll hear me swearing like a trooper though.
I can imagine. I'll watch that back later.
Anyway, thank you very much to you guys though for the coverage this season. It's been brilliant, and it's been great to watch the races back and tier 2 as well. I'm looking forward to more of the same next year as well. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you in a couple of weeks, guys.
Alright, see you, Andy. Congrats. And yeah, what a season it's been. You know, through this entire journey, you know, championship lead shifted many times this season, but professional is the one that comes out on top. There's only 4 wins this season and many consistent runs and podiums, and you know what to say, you know, he earned it. What a fantastic drive, and he came in clutch the last couple of races, winning the last 2, one with Team Motors and the other with just a hefty crash, which again, you know, he qualified on pole and he was most likely going to stay there. He was already clear of the madness. But yeah, it's unfortunate for what happened. But I think that's where we're gonna finish this stream off. Any other final comments?
To be honest, what happened tonight is just part and parcel of racing. You are never ever I've never ever seen a 100% perfect race. You will always get those incidents, and that should be really taken to one side and just focus on what we have there. Professional winning the championship, Aguilera to win the championship in tier 2 as well. Fantastic wins for them both. Next week you can tune in for more TTTV action, of course. If you want to focus on what I'm doing in the meantime, I'm going to be commentating on the 24 Hours of F1 event tomorrow morning at 10 AM till 12 noon UK time, so I'm going to be doing that. And then Tuesday is TTL F2, myself and Aidan Carter going to be taking you through that one. Then on Wednesday there might be another event, I'm not sure, we'll have to wait and see on that. Thursday, TTL F1, Kieran McGinley and myself hopefully going to be taking you through that one, bearing any disconnections. And then TTFL League 1, TTL F1 League 2 I should say, on Friday at 8 o'clock, myself and Paco Suarez taking you on that one. And then Saturday there's a big void to be filled.
Yeah, Saturday for an off week, nothing will be happening. But the week after that, we have CRC touring cars starting off in Alton Park. Week after that, we have the Hockenheim Ring, and then we have the finale at Rapuna Park. Again, all these races are double headers. So basically, with touring car, 20-minute races with 10-minute qualifying. Race 2s are randomized grid, 15-minute races. That is how touring cars will be for CRC, and it's going to be very exciting in 2 weeks' time. So don't forget to join us. And James, I've had a lot of fun commentating alongside you, and I know Professional will have just as much fun as well next season, and as well with Ash and Professional commentating alongside you for touring cars. Again, not sure how the commentary lineup looks for next season, but I do know it's Professional and you for next season. Not sure with Ash. Maybe it could be a third man on the side. I know he's expressed interest, but yeah, I think that's going to be it.
I think it'll be fantastic, and I think Professional joining me will obviously fill the void for you. I'd just like to thank you as well, Alan, for having me a part of this for Season 4. I'm sure Season 5 is going to be even better, but I can't wait for the touring cars.
Yeah, I can't wait for touring cars. I can't wait for Season 5. I can't even wait for Season 6, which is already being planned, and, it's at the end of Season 4. So thank you so much for joining us, everybody, for this fantastic journey of Season 4 CRC. I think we're going to wrap it up finally after going on for 20, 30 minutes, as it should have ended earlier. But, it's been fun, and I'm really happy this season happened. Congratulations to our champions of Tier 2 Agulator and Tier 1 Professional. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching, and this is some CRC action on TTV. Have a safe night, everybody, and peace.